And joining us now is the Republican frontrunner, Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So, big endorsement for you from New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. During the campaign, he had some tough words for you. Do you think he was just playing politics back then? How'd you get him on board?
I think it is politics. I mean, people say things and then all of a sudden reality sets in, and he's great. He's a great guy. He's the one endorsement I really wanted. I wanted it badly. We have some great endorsements, but Chris is one that I really wanted to get, and I have many others coming, frankly. But, you know, endorsements have never meant that much to me, but that is an endorsement that was good. But I love our endorsement. We have Sarah Palin. We have, as you know, Jerry Falwell Jr., and you see I'm leading with the evangelicals in just about every state and nationwide, and Jerry's helped so much. And, you know, we have, as an example, we have Joe on the border in Arizona, Sheriff Joe, and Joe Arpaio. There's nobody better for borders than Sheriff Joe, so that was a big endorsement, too. So we have some great endorsements, and a lot of them are coming.
I know you're big on Twitter. The hashtag #NeverTrump hashtag exploded on Twitter this weekend. These are Republicans saying they will never vote for you. Marco Rubio himself even used that hashtag. What do you think of that?
Well, he can do whatever he wants. You know, I signed a pledge, and the pledge is a two-way street. And if it's not that way, they're going to have a problem. They're going to have a big problem with me. We have tremendous amounts of people. We have, as you know, I'm going to Alabama today. We're going to have 25,000 people, and probably more than that. We had to go to a football stadium because no building held it. And we're going to have an amazing crowd. And yesterday in Tennessee, I had 15,000 people in a hangar. In Arkansas, you probably saw that one in the morning. In Arkansas, we had about 15,000 people in a hangar. And, you know, we have a lot of people. I'm representing people. I'm not representing myself. I'm representing a lot of anger out there. And we're not angry people, but we're angry at the way this country is being run. And a lot of them are angry at the way the Republican Party is being run, Jake.
Yeah, I want to ask you about...
The Republican Party is not being run properly.
I want to ask you about that because Republicans in Washington, D.C. are starting to tell Republican senators that they don't have to go to the convention if you're the nominee, that they should think about running against you if you're the nominee. That combined with Marco Rubio doing the Never Trump hashtag, do you think Republicans are violating the pledge?
Totally. Totally. I mean, if they want to play that game, I can play it much better than they can. And I have a lot more people than they do. And, you know, totally. If they're doing that, that's a total violation of the pledge, yes.
Yesterday, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz released summaries of their tax returns. You have yet to do so. Rubio and Cruz have been saying that you're trying to hide something. Cruz yesterday also going on this little tirade saying that maybe the returns show that you're not as rich as you say you are, or that you gave money to Planned Parenthood, or you pay very low tax rates. Can you deny that those charges are true, and when will we see your taxes?
Well, number one, I fully disclosed my financials, and I put them in actually right on time, and nobody else did, by the way, but I put them in on time. And it's almost 100 pages of financials, and it shows over $10 billion. If you figure it out, it's over $10 billion in net worth, and it's an amazing company with great cash flow, very little debt, all of that. You can't tell anything from tax returns because you take deductions, massive deductions, and lots of other things, and you can't tell very much from a tax return. You really can't tell anything as to that. As far as gifts, I give a lot of money. I could probably release a lot of the gifts that I've given over the years, and I probably will do that sometime next week. We'll just make a listing of the various monies that I've paid for 2 charities, and I think that's a good idea, actually. But I can't release tax returns when there's an audit. Now, it's very unfair. I've been treated very unfairly by the IRS because I've been audited almost every year for 10 or 12 years. And I have friends that are very rich people. They never get audited. And so I think I've been really singled out. I don't know why I'm singled out. Maybe because I'm a very conservative, maybe because I'm Tea Party. I feel Tea Party. I've always been sort of that feeling of Tea Party. I've always had great Tea Party support. I don't know what it is. But I have been singled out, and so many of my friends, they don't even know what I'm talking about. When I say, do you get audited? They don't even know what I'm talking about, and I'm audited every year. So until the audit is completed, obviously I'm not giving my papers. And you had people on your show and on CNN where tax experts said, no, it'd be crazy to give papers before the audit is completed.
I don't know if you saw Cruz's charges, but can you deny the charges he made about you not having the worth that you have, or you've given a lot of money to groups that support
Jake, I just told you, and let Cruz go to the FEC where I made a financial disclosure, unlike him, where he did not disclose that he borrowed money from Goldman Sachs, $1 million between Citibank and Goldman Sachs. He didn't disclose it, illegally didn't disclose it on his financial disclosure forms. I mean, Cruz shouldn't be the one talking because he didn't disclose his loans. And he made big loans from big institutions, Goldman Sachs and Citi, and he never, ever mentioned them in his financial disclosure form because he wants to talk like Robin Hood, you know, like he's Robin Hood and he's going to help the people with the banks. But in the meantime, he's borrowing money at very, very low interest rates, rates that nobody can get. And I think it's disgraceful. And then he tells me, so just to finish, I have fully disclosed my net worth, and all you have to do is go and check my financial statements because I fully disclosed my financial statements, and that was a big deal, and they're very good, and obviously you would have heard about them if they weren't because they've been gone over by everybody. As far as the tax returns, I obviously cannot give tax returns that are under audit, and every expert that you've had on your show said you shouldn't do it, you should wait till the audit is over.
I want to ask you about the Anti-Defamation League, which this week called on you to publicly condemn unequivocally the racism of former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke, who recently said that voting against you at this point would be treason to your heritage. Will you unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, did he endorse me or what's going on? Because, you know, I know nothing about David Duke. I know nothing about white supremacists. And so you're asking me a question that I'm supposed to be talking about people that I know nothing about.
But I guess the question from the Anti-Defamation League is, even if you don't know about their endorsement, there are these groups and individuals endorsing you. Would you just say unequivocally you condemn them and you don't want their support?
Well, I have to look at the group. I mean, I don't know what group you're talking about. You wouldn't want me to condemn a group that I know nothing about. I have to look. If you would send me a list of the groups, I will do research on them, and certainly I would disavow if I thought there was something wrong. But you may have groups in there that are totally fine, and it would be very unfair. So give me a list of the groups, and I'll let you know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan here, but...
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
All right. In terms of a potential running mate, sir, you said a few days ago that you'd look for a political insider to help you get legislation through. Are you specifically looking for someone with government experience in general, such as Governor Chris Christie, or someone who has spent years on Capitol Hill, such as Governor John Kasich?
Well, I have a great business ability. I've always had a great business ability, and I built a great company, and I don't need that, really, I don't believe, for what I'm doing. I would want somebody that can, you know, that does have a little bit of an insider track, so we can get things through Congress. He or she can work with me on getting, you know, papers filed, papers approved, so we don't have to use executive orders like President Obama is always using executive orders because he just can't get anything approved, he can't get anything through. So I would like the idea, I mean, just conceptually, it doesn't mean I'm going to do that, but conceptually, I like the idea of a political person to go along with my abilities. Now, I'm a very political person also, which people are just about starting to find out. But I would rather have, I think, somebody that's political that can help. But the most important position, now look, for vice president, you got to pick somebody who's going to be a great president. Because if something should happen, hopefully not, but if something should happen, the single most important quality would be a person that can be a great president.
All right. Donald J. Trump, thank you so much. Good luck on Tuesday, sir. We'll see you on the campaign trail.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jake.